Did you think we were done shitting on Bethesda? Hello everyone, welcome back to Critical Hit, the one-stop show for everything news, reviews, and opinion-based videos on everything geek and gamer culture. I am your host, Adam, and I freaking love Doom Eternal. I do. I freaking love Doom Eternal. It's one of my favourite games of the year. I love the fact that it builds upon the old one. I love the fact that it doesn't feel just like another version of Doom 2016. They've tweaked certain elements of it to make it truly feel like a sequel. There is definitely a different atmosphere and feel to Doom Eternal. It is definitely a worthy sequel to Doom 2016. I replayed Doom 2016 alongside Doom Eternal. They're both great in their own ways and I really enjoy them. I didn't get any sort of feeling of burnout or fatigue with the games when I reached Doom Eternal towards the end. I just wanted to keep playing. I wanted to play more. I wanted to get all the secrets. I love it. I love Doom Eternal. And one of the greatest aspects of Doom Eternal is indeed its music. And I freaking love its music. Mick Gordon is one of the best and creative composers for Doom. He has brought the feeling, the true gripping atmosphere of the kick-ass feel it is to be the Doom Slayer. I love his music. The man is so creative, he uses chainsaws for instruments. Who can say that they use chainsaws for freaking instruments? And of course, with the release of Doom Eternal came the Doom Eternal soundtrack, and apparently Bethesda does what it always does. Bethesda fucked it up. Doom Eternal soundtrack mix release was a bit of a flop because Bethesda kind of butchered Mick's unbelievably good soundtrack. And because of it has maybe alienated him and forced him to not want to come back to make any more Doom project. And that is a freaking shame. That is horrible news if it is true. Mick is one of the Mick Gordon, great composer, as I've said. I would hate to see him leave. No one could really emulate his style, I don't think, because it is so creative and so interesting in the way he does these sorts of stuff. And of course, Bethesda decide they're going to alienate the fucker by screwing up the release of his final mix soundtrack. Apparently, yep, here we have the tweet that shows the butchering, because there's no other way to put it, butchering, someone put it into Audacity. Here we have the BFG edition, and here we have the final mix. And as you can see, it's compressed to shit. It looks fucking awful, because although he actually composed the tracks, he didn't actually mix the majority of the soundtrack himself. That was handed over instead to a guy by the name of Chad Musholder, and without putting it any other way, he's pretty much butchered the entirety of the soundtrack that he himself mixed. So yeah, horrible. And apparently this has caused Doom Eternal's composer Mick Gordon extreme frustrations with it, and I would be frustrated as well. I've had the pleasure of actually emailing Mick only once, conversing with him only once, where I emailed him back in 2016, shortly after I completed Doom 2016. Composers don't get enough love. They don't get enough respect, and they don't get enough recognition for their hard work. Of course, this has only really proved what I was saying back in 2016. But yeah, he's grown very frustrated, and he's grown apparently, very frustrated. I would be too, because you're an artist, you put your art on the work. It would be pretty much like doing a painting and having someone just come along and just alter it and make it sound and make it look awful. It kind of reminds me of that Jesus painting. Imagine there's Mick Gordon's work, and here's what Bethesda released. So, that pretty much sums it up. There's the visual you need to understand. Doom Eternal's composer has distanced himself from the newly released track. I don't blame him. And it may have just alienated him as well. Because if you look at this, yo Mick, are you going to be there if id decides to make another Doom game? Doubt we'll work together again. And of course, this reaction pretty much sums up my reaction on the whole thing. No, your Doom soundtracks were the bomb. They indeed were. And it would be such a shame. Since the controversial release, Mick has now decided he's going to try and fix this himself. Because the man has a lot of pride in his work, as he should have. Because, look, I don't know if this was Bethesda, if this was id, I don't know what was going on. I don't know who decided to release that track. I don't know who decided to release the soundtrack the way it was. I don't know whose fault this was. But Bethesda has been known to do this before. This isn't the first time that someone under Bethesda's umbrella have been alienated from the company. Hell, this isn't the first time Bethesda have alienated a composer from the freaking company. If you remember back in 2019, when the teaser for Elder Scrolls 6 dropped, Jeremy Soule confirmed that he not only did not do the teaser music, but he had not been asked to come back and do Elder Scrolls 6 at that moment. And, you know, he was only the person who made, did the soundtrack for Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, a bunch of other Bethesda tracks. The man is a freaking legend. He, again, made that freaking iconic soundtrack to Skyrim, Dovahkiin, that one. And he helped make Skyrim what it was. A great amount of epicness would have been lost if it weren't for his soundtrack. The man's a freaking legend. And here we have him turning around saying, I don't know if I'm involved in this. What the heck? I haven't been asked to come back. So, this isn't the first time that they have alienated a freaking composer from their ranks. And Mick Gordon helped bring that to light. He helped set the atmosphere. People have often been disrespectful to people who work in music and composing and sound design and all that stuff when they say that films are a visual medium. So I feel sad about the idea that Mick won't be coming back, I feel sad about the idea that Mick isn't coming. So I feel sad about the idea that Mick might not be coming back for future installments of the Doom franchise. But at the same time, can you really blame him? I know I can't, because he's pretty much just he's an artist, and he's watched his work being butchered in front of him by an incompetent studio that releases a subpar mix that completely destroys everything that he spent so much time and effort working on. So, really, I don't blame him, and I don't think anyone else should either if he decides not to come back. I am in full support of Mick and his future and any future projects that he may be working on. I hope this hasn't dissuaded him from being involved in the business entirely. Bethesda are known for pretty much screwing up everything that they touch, and I hope, and if it was them that pretty much authorized this version of the final mix to be released, I wouldn't be too surprised. So I hope that he understands that this is the exception, not the rule, or at least I like to think that it is, and that if he goes somewhere else, that other companies will be treating him better. I hope that that's the case. So what do you guys think about this whole situation? Do you think it was Bethesda, id, maybe some other third party that completely screwed up this final mix? Do you think that Mick is right to walk away from the whole thing? Do you think that the absence of his music in future installments will make the games less enjoyable? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. If you liked the video, give us a little thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for all my latest videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.